The Aldis podcast is brought to you by Aldis International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our ServiceNow series, where we interview the best and brightest of the industry to share their story, advice, and views on the exciting world of ServiceNow and digital transformation.
Hello everybody, it's Mark Kelly here from the Aldis podcast. I hope you're doing really well. A part of our ServiceNow series, I have the pleasure of chatting with Florian Wallrodt, Senior Consultant and Product Line Lead ITSM at Agineo, Germany. Florian, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm really looking forward.
Thank you, Florian. And tell us a little bit about your role and some of the work that you do in Agineo. And if people don't necessarily know about Agineo, maybe if you could tell us a little bit about that at the start and then talk to us a little bit about your role as well, which would be very helpful. We have had your colleagues on the show in the past, but for people who didn't actually catch that episode, it'd be great to hear about that.
So basically, Agineo is a consultancy company in Germany, and we are focused on implement ServiceNow projects. So on the whole platform, let's say, we are doing implementation and process consultancies for all ServiceNow related topics in any area. Like I said, some of my colleagues are already in the podcast, so we are doing a lot of or all of the parts of the platform. And to my role, I'm senior consultant and product line lead. For my customers, I'm fitting mainly the role as a project manager, so I'm taking care that ITSM projects, or better to say ITSM projects with ServiceNow as a platform are delivered to our customers, and the whole product line lead for ITSM, you can imagine that a little bit like a product owner, like a typical Scrum product owner. So I'm responsible for defining new approaches and also new products in the ITSM area so that we can accelerate the project implementations and also offer additional value to our customers as well.
Fantastic. So when we think about ServiceNow and the platform, in the world that I'm in, I am seeing all the different types of modules that are on offer. We've Gen AI, different applications, the stock prices going through the roof. However, the foundation of ServiceNow is ITSM. And for a lot of people and companies who are adopting ServiceNow, the vast majority of them are actually wanting to introduce ITSM and the importance of actually utilizing that correctly and then building out additional modules to come into that. Now, with 52% of global revenue come from ITSM, it's still their most important one. However, we've got employee experience, which your colleagues actually spoke about, and other ones like kind of asset management becoming very important. Tell us about how ITSM is still really important, particularly within the German market.
Yeah, so like you said, I think ITSM is for the majority, at least for our customer, the majority is the first step to go in the ITSM world and also to the ServiceNow world, let's say. So ITSM is the central starting point, implementing the platform and also implementing the processes as well. Because what we see in the German market is that a lot of customers have customized processes or customized tool, and they suffered a little bit in the past, I would say. So they now want to go back to basic, back to standard. So they see the ITSM or the implementation of ITSM with ServiceNow as a first step going back to the basic, going back to out of the box, and hopefully getting rid of some of their pains and pain points they have.
So when we think about ITSM, what are some of the case studies that come to mind where companies have got similar challenges or similar problems, and they start to utilize the platform to help give a better employee experience or triage different types of problems? What does that look like? And I appreciate every company is different, but it'd be good just to spot some of the trends.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think Germany or the German market is a little bit slow adopters. So what we see is well, when we come to customers or when we start projects, that there are a lot of legacy tools or old tools which are highly customized and have been in place since 10, 15, sometimes 20 years. And yeah, that's very interesting. And that's what I'm trying to say, coming back to my initial point. So they have fears, they have pains, and they suffer the old legacy tools and processes, and they want to have, yeah, I would call it a new fresh start, to come back to the standard, to out of the box processes, and also to out of the box platform, because the old platform is very often a kind of silo, that is only can do one thing, or you need a lot of systems to being connected that can fulfill all the processes for changes, incidents, requests, and stuff. And ServiceNow, like you might all know, is offering a whole platform, a single system of records, and that makes it a lot of easier and brings a lot of advantages for our customers.
And is there any ones that particularly come to mind where the customer has a problem or a challenge? So maybe it's, raising issues or tickets, and those tickets are, not getting resolved on time, or it's hard to track those tickets or those incidents, or not being able to kind of spot trends where they can actually deal with the problem rather than the symptom. Does anything kind of come to mind in that regard?
Yes. To be honest, all what you said sounds really familiar to me, because that is somehow all our daily business, I would say, because of the old tools. A lot of users or people then have the problem. For example, they can't see what state their ticket or what state their requests have, and it sounds quite simple, that, I mean, for sure, we are all grown up in a modern world, in an IT world, somehow digital natives, and then when we are coming to some companies where we didn't even see what is the state of our ticket, that is for me very interesting challenge. And that is, like I said, the simple things what we are trying to help, because what we see, making the simple things work or get rid of the simple things so that people can see their ticket states, it is very helpful, because we had an actual example. So if I can give a concrete example, so we had a customer where people in that case actually can't see their ticket status. So everybody is calling the service desk, hey, what is the state and when is my ticket being closed? And once we have implemented ITSM or the service portal, then that everybody has full transparency of their tickets, it reduces the service desk calls, or the amount of the service desk calls, about 10 to 12% per month. And that is, a lot, because you are saving a lot of manpower and you're increasing efficiency of your service desk agents.
Yeah, and also it's giving a better customer experience, because people don't want to be calling the help desk or on hold, or they want to self-serve. So they want to be able to actually fix the problem themselves and move on with their day as quickly as they possibly can. Same way as the person who's answering the calls doesn't want to be doing tasks that could be automated away to create that kind of better experience. And then from the leader of the organization, the great thing is they can use the dashboards to actually see how the company's doing against its promises, in terms of kind of tracking these different types of outcomes and how good you are at being efficient. And we do know that that net promoter score will be impacted on how efficient you are dealing with those different types of queries and concerns. And there's nothing more worse than people working on similar challenges or problems when you could just get it escalated or completed through an online ticket agent.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it is very important that you always need to keep in mind the main stakeholder. So like you said, and for example, the management. So it's important that also the management can have insights of the data. And once they have one platform, one single source of records, reports can easily build. So it's really interesting for me because when we are going, for example, in workshops and presenting also to managers or the service desk manager in that case, how easily reports can be built in ServiceNow. So it is somehow mind-blowing. And then when we put on the table performance analytics, where you can make forecasts to see, okay, probably in 2 weeks I have X amount of incidents on my service desk, predicting that amount more or less. It is interesting how that is catching the people and, for example, the management. And I think also in terms of that of a stakeholder, what we really need to keep in mind and what really comes more important, what we see is if you look at ServiceNow, it provides a good customer journey. The usability, it is modern, it is fancy. And all the companies needs to keep in mind the Gen Z is coming to the market, to the employee market, and they are grown up with all the modern applications and modern apps. And you need to give them proper IT tools, either for fulfillment if you are in the role of the service desk, or as a customer to see the customer journey, having some chatbots, all this, I call it fancy stuff. You need to start deliver, because otherwise you will lose the future people.
And this is a great point, because there used to be this divide where in your employer, you were way ahead with the tech that you were using and access to. And then you had people in their everyday lives who are using the latest technology themselves. So now you've got a great leveler. So the expectations, as you rightly said, it's digital. Everything is expected that this is how they come. They're coming through the schooling system, understanding the importance of digital sustainability, not wasting paper, and kind of working through kind of processes like this. Back in the day, I always wanted to get my driving license because of the independence having a car would have. But now you get an Uber. Having that driving license isn't as important as it used to be. So there's all these different types of mindset shifts, and the leaders within the organization need to make sure that it's accessible to those people coming in and joining the business.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point, because getting an Uber is so simple on our days. Why getting a taxi or Uber, why it should be harder than requesting a laptop or requesting a new mobile device for my company, and everything must be simple. And I think with ServiceNow, with this usability and having everything on one platform, that is a very good step in this direction to make everything simple for all stakeholders, not only for particular one, it is for everyone.
Where do you see the ITSM module going towards? Where it's evolving? There's so many different innovations happening within ServiceNow. Where do you see it evolving?
so at least the German market is now experienced it. So they have made the first step implementing the ITSM. Now it's there. And now a lot of company asking, okay, and now we have made the first step now. What is the second? What is the third step? And people, companies and organizations are starting playing around with also generative AI a little bit, because they always want to see, okay, how I can be either more efficient, being faster resolution time, and how I can reduce costs. For example, creating incidents, incidents deflection, for example, by providing good services or something. And I think we are now on this break point of, okay, the foundation is done. Now we are starting optimizing our processes, our working behavior, and everything that is coming with those topics. And I mean, for sure, that is bringing other different challenges to the table as well.
You've been listening to the All This podcast. As part of our ServiceNow series, we've had the pleasure of speaking to Florian Wallrodt, Senior Consultant and Product Line Lead, ITSM at agineo. Thanks again, Florian.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the All This podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.allthis.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.